It's time.
Good bloody evening, Kingsmen and Kingswomen. It's the King of the Couch back in your ear holes for another week of the world's greatest podcast, the King of the Couch podcast. I'm sitting here on a Tuesday evening, 9:09 p.m., 7th to the 12th, 2021. It's, of course, Tuesday. Normally I record on a Monday night. Had a few things on last night. My mum was up. It was just one of those nights. Becky was a bit sick, bit crook actually, so I had to put my dad hat thoroughly on and adjust it and just be the best dad ever last night. So that's what I did, and the night got away. It's coming to the end of the year. We're coming into Christmas, 7th to 12th. Oh, geez, I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. Is that 18 days, 17 days until Christmas? Something like that? Yeah, I don't know. It sounds about right, but it's fucking close, whatever it is. But yeah, sitting here, episode 121, wanted to come at you again because if I miss the Monday, it can be hard pressed trying to get back into it for the Tuesday, frankly, because my week is sort of structured like that now. Even though I always say I don't like routine and things like that, like ultimately we have routines. That's kind of the way life goes. But yeah, look, how are we? Hope you're all well. I'm not too bad. We'll talk about it tonight. I've had one of those funny sort of headspaces, frankly. It must be this time of year, but we'll get into it. Bit of housekeeping up front. If you can subscribe to the show, that's great. If you can drop a review somewhere, that's great. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all the reputable platforms, all the fucking good ones, all the ones worth listening to, and probably a whole bunch more that I don't know of. So let me know if you want to give me some money. I'll give you my bank account details and you can send it across. Cash, I'll accept cash. I don't have a crypto thing yet, but I'll accept crypto. It's pretty hot. I know that. But yeah, going well. I'm sitting here tonight. Got my water with my minerals, my sea salt in it. I'm big on that at the moment. I mentioned my rosacea last week. I've got a few little things that I'm doing. That's not directly for the rosacea, but the minerals I believe are helping. So there's a hot tip for you straight off the bat. If you're not putting like a Himalayan sea salt or like a Celtic sea salt, I'm not really sure, but not your average Saxa salt, the table salt. Little dash into your water bottle. Check it out, and get that shit in you. It tastes fucking good. And the other drink I've got, which I've already finished half of it, looks like a little pink gin. It's not. It's a very, very tough raspberry kombucha, and it's fucking delicious. It makes my mouth full of spit. It does. I've got that thing where my mouth is sort of like I'm salivating at the moment, and it's just one of those things. So anyway, it doesn't matter. But I'm back on the mic, so let's get it done. Weekend. We always start with a weekend. It was a good weekend, frankly. It consisted of, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, like it does every other week. But it was a good one. Friday night, I can't remember the train of thought, but I'm usually a bit stonkered coming to Fridays, as I always say. We sat down to watch a movie of some sort. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was a good one. It wasn't Red Notice. That was last week. If you've missed episode 120, I do a smallish review, and I think it was pretty good. Got a bit of feedback on it. We watched a movie. We did something. We had some food. It was good. Like, it was a family affair. But Beck and I were in bed at like 10:10. Yeah, about 10:30 on a Friday night, which is frankly pretty chill for me. I had 2 beers, a glass of wine. I said I'm trying to sort of cut it back on the booze. It's one of those things. It's a double-edged sword. There's pros to it. There's cons to it too. The pros are that you have a good time whilst you're doing it. Everything else, is sort of a con from that pro, basically. But the pros of, like, say, not doing it, like, you're not as groggy, your brain fog's gone, you fucking move better, you feel better, your mental health is better. So those are all pros, and there's no real cons to that. I guess the con would be that you're missing out on that little snippet of drinking time. But so I have been pretty good. So 2 beers and a glass of wine, that's fuck all, that's nothing. So we did that, and then we went to bed. This is on YouTube. It's not on Pornhub or anything like that, so I'm not going to go into what happened after hours. You know what I mean? I'm going to let you just marinate that in your head and just like run with it. Run with your fucking imagination there. But no, in all seriousness, it was a good night. 10 o'clock, just beautiful. Just me and the wife to be eventually, just caressing and embracing each other. It was really nice. I think it has been a while since we've done that. Not that we're on the rocks or anything like that, but it was just life moves so fast. It was good to just stop and smell the roses, so to speak, each other's roses, whatever. Fucking insinuate how you will. But yeah, very nice. Got up on Saturday morning. Had a nice little morning actually. I got to be honest with you though, Arabella was just like thoroughly doing my head in. My fuse has been up and down lately. We'll talk about that after we get through the weekend and some of the other things that I've got labeled here tonight for your ears and eye holes. But it was just one of those things. It started okay, and I can't remember where my mood sort of changed. But she just was really like just pressing me, and I was sort of like, she's going through this really kind of whingy phase right now. I'm sure parents can understand this. She's 2.5, and it's just that sort of it's a funny period, you know. She's sort of playing us off against each other in funny ways. She's sort of going, I want dad. Dad goes over. Oh no, I want mum. Mum goes over. Psych. I want dad. That shit does my head in. The whinging like, hey dad, can I borrow your phone? Can I use this? Can you put Peppa Pig on? Can you get me some ice cream? And all the things that you don't just naturally want to give them straight off the bat. You know, like it's 8 a.m. Can I get a fucking pint of ice cream? No, you can't. Wham! Turns to water, goes to the whinging. But then it's that thing of like, okay, you turn around straight there and you give them that bowl of ice cream. They're sweet. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's their way of getting that bowl of ice cream, and that whinge, it just, it annoys me, you know what I mean? And it's kind of a reflection of, like, sometimes it makes me think of, like, the way I do my things, you know, where I'm like, yeah, Beck, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And she's like, well, look, I don't know about that. And I'm just like, I don't slump on the floor in the groceries and just cry, you know, at the local Coles, and just stomp and kick and piss and moan. But I definitely have I have my moments, okay? I have my moments. I have my ways of dealing with these things. And sometimes she doesn't agree with it. So as a reflection of Arabella back to me, I'm going to go, okay, yeah, nah, dig it, get it. All right, but you're still fucking me off. And it was just one of those mornings, like, my anger's just been like on the edge lately, on the edge. I don't know what it was anyway. But it was good. We had a bit of a day planned. We had a night planned actually. One of my best old chums, my buddy Milky. He hates that saying. Anyone that says buddy, it's not our thing. You know what I mean? Buddy. I don't know. I don't like it. In terms of like pet names for your friends, you know, mate, bro, dude, cunt. They're all good. Buddy, don't really fly with us and me. Anyone actually. I don't know who is saying that. I know a few buds. That's okay, but yeah, you've got it. Don't call me buddy. Anyway, we had our friend Milky and his son Eddie coming up, and that was really nice. That was like a really nice little thing, because his partner wasn't coming. Not to say that I don't like her. God, let me rephrase that. It was just good to have a bit of boys' time. He sort of said, "Look, going to give Sarah the night off." You know, basically, AKA, she's told me to take the night off and go away with Eddie, so I'm coming to your house. So that was really nice. It was good to just sort of have like a bit of that boy time. It was just me and him. You know, we don't. Life moves so fast now. We both got kids, so it was good to have them interact when it was just us, because I don't think that we've really done that for like a set period of time. And it's a really cool thing. You know, like whether he thought about it like I did, I'm not sure, but it was interesting because for so long, and I'm sure guys, you can relate to this, that when you have friends that you grow up with and you do absolutely everything with, you know what I mean? They've, you know, you've drunk together, you've cried together, you've spewed together, you've done this together, you've tried to basically just get together in all sorts of weird compromising positions and things like that. We won't you know, it's just, I don't know what I'm talking about, but we've done some weird stuff. He's one of my best friends, you know what I mean? We do things, you know, like, and it's just, we're in this new phase of our life where we've got kids now, and then when we're together, the kids are there, so it's like, okay, we're entering different lives here, you know. So we have, you know, it was really cool to actually see like those guys that once got drunk and spewed together, or maybe cried together, or tried to, you know, whatever we did together. And I'm not helping myself here tonight. The explanations are just, I feel like I'm not flowing here with this train of thought, but I will continue because I'm a professional. We've got the kids there now, so it was really cool, and it was the first time we got to hang out together with our kids. So I was really looking forward to it, frankly. And I know he was really looking forward to it. You know, when someone's looking forward to it, when they like text you like 3 or 4 times about, hey man, can't wait, can't do this, I'm bringing bottles of wine, blah, 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 it's going to be so fun. Just awesome day, right? The weather was mint. We've had this, like, I think it's called like a La Nina storm, something like that in Queensland. And it, like, La Nina sounds like just a pissed off like Spanish bird. And like, she's just absolutely raining on us, just almost 5-6 days a week at this moment. It's been good the last few days, I will say that. And Saturday was an absolute perler of a day. Like, it was a day that you just couldn't, you know, That's the summer day you want. Was not like ridiculously hot, but nice hot. The beach was like just perfect. No wind. I hate the wind, so there was no wind. It was perfect. Just an awesome temperature. And that was that day we had. So basically, it comes up, we chill out for a bit. You do the niceties. You offer them the beer, you offer them the water, you offer them this, you offer them a cheese stick. I don't know, a bit of cabanossi, whatever. And that was it. We jumped in the car, took the kids to our little secret beach back. Arabella and I have a little thing. We got this thing called the Secret Beach. It's at Wootala. It's a local. It's not really secret. There's other people there, but I tell her it's our secret beach because we have to go through like a secret little sort of forest to get there. It's sweet. It's our thing. But mate, I swear to God, it was just a fucking perler of a day. Like, it was so good. As it was just one of those days that if I was a religious man, I'd be praying for that sort of day. But I'm not a religious man, so it just came into my life just universally. Mate, so good. And we just spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours on the beach together. And it was just like, mate, it was good, wholesome fun. Like, just legitimate, wholesome fun. You know what I mean? The surf was good. Eddie was dunking his head with Milky. Arabella was like, yeah, let's do that, Dad. Do you want to do this? And I'm teaching her to hold her breath and like embrace the waves, because that's the thing. We live at the beach. We wanted to make sure she's comfortable with the waves and stuff like that. And it was just really cool. We're in the sand, we're digging holes, making fucking giant, we make a sandcastle. It's got a swimming pool, try to make a moat sort of situation. It's just like ideal. Like, it's absolutely lush. And it was just a great day. And we're just sitting there, just sort of taking it in. It was one of those days, as funny as it sounds, like, it just sort of was like, I wasn't worried about the time, wasn't worried about like where we needed to be. I felt really good. Like, I was right there in the moment sort of thing, At some point you go like, oh, we should probably get these kids off the beach for like sun safety, I'm not sure about sunscreen and things like that, but look, yeah, hour and a half, 2 hours went by. We're like, look, we'll leg it. Went and did a little bottle-o run. I will say, shout out Milky. You know what I mean? He put on a nice bottle of Pinot and another nice bottle of Pinot. There were two in the $30. He spent like $60-something on wine. I mean, he was really trying to stamp his financial dominance on me on Saturday, and I fucking appreciated it. I really did. He was saying, look, you're putting us up for the night, mate. It's the least I can do. I thought, look, I'm paying rent regardless if you're here or not, but fucking let's go, And it was good. Went home. Arabella had a bit of a sleep. We cracked a couple of beers. Again, just chilling. His son was cruising around the house doing what he was doing, and he's good. He's a good little thing, He's like just a little fucking ball of like thunder at the moment. He's just like he's like a year younger than Arabella, but he's just got that like footballer sort of body, you know what I mean? And it was just one of those things. It was really, really, really cool. So I had a couple of Coubas. I had a little pork loin to put on. First time done a pork loin. I will say it went pretty well. I was pretty stoked with it. I did a little bit of a cop out. It was like pre-marinated, so I was like, look, that's okay, but we put it on. I actually rated it. It was delicious, right? So we're chilling all afternoon, having some beers, doing this, doing that. I put on the nice Greek salad, run a little bit low on feta, but it was still fucking lovely. And I've done my world famous potatoes. This is my tip for potatoes if you're listening and you're interested in my world famous potatoes. I parboil them for about 10 minutes, put them in the colander, strainer, whatever it is, give it a smash so it sort of adds like a bit of crispiness on so it sort of jaggers them up a bit. Slam them on the plate. Oil, rosemary, salt, pepper. That's basically it. And then I'll chuck him in for like 35 to 45 minutes, depending on how big you cut the potatoes, of course. I sort of go like that size, maybe, the size of like my AirPods maybe, or like maybe smaller than my AirPods. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we sat down. Great. Awesome. The kids have eaten their dinner. They're in bed. We're just adulting, we cracked a nice bottle of Pinot. It was a cork one. It was fucking delish. And we sat down, and the mood was great. And the first fucking thing that people say, I hate this. It was a mood killer for me. Is that all the potatoes you've done? Not even a bite. I was going the whole Italian less is more kind of situation. Frankly, I needed some of those fucking potatoes for the next night. You know what I mean? Beck blames Milky on that, but I vividly remember Beck saying, is that all the potatoes you've done? The first thing, I've just slaved over this pork loin, the salad, and the potatoes. And she fucking first comments that there's not a trough full of potatoes. And then, of course, the big lad that he is, the big fucking lump, he's chimed in going, yeah, mate, look the size of me. I need heaps of these potatoes. What's going on here? And I just sat down, head of the table, naturally, king of the table, and I've just gone, what the fuck? I'm like, I've just slaved away for like an hour and a half. I was like, been top afternoon, top evening, And you fat cunts have just said, where's all the potatoes? You haven't even taken a bite yet. The bite and the flavor could be so good and so filling that you don't need all this extra carbs. Wow, couldn't believe it. Anyway, there's not one potato left at the end. A tiny bit of, salad and a tiny bit of loin, but not one potato. So they are world famous. They were a hit. The people wanted more before they even finished them. And to their credit, they did finish them. I could have done more. They would have kept going. I was trying to do them a favor. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's the kind of guy I am. The drinks kept flowing. More red wine. Day went to bed. Tomo had another one on his own. Thank you very much, as he does. Cracked a movie. I'll do a bit of review soon enough after all this shit. And that was it. Took us to Sunday morning. But beautiful Saturday, I will say. A very good little Saturday while I take a sip. It was just good. So we'll probably do it again over the holidays. We've all got Chrissy holidays soon, so that's something that we will do very, very soon. This fucking hair, I get a little thing here, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. We'll cut it out. No, we won't. Sunday morning. Weather was looking all right, but it was one of those ones. Lenina was just rearing her Spanish rainy head again, and it was like, what do we do? So we hopped in the car, went up to Torella Brewery up at North Arm. Unreal. We wanted to go for a while, but ironically, like every time we wanted to go, it's like been pissing down rain. This was one of those ones as we're getting it starting to spit. We went, fuck, here we go, it's coming again. It didn't. The Lenina, the rain guards, they held off for a little while, which was absolutely stunning. And it was a great day. Like, again, just good, wholesome family fun. We had Beck there as well. Obviously, she was keen as to go, so we all went up. And they had like a petting zoo sort of situation. They were all rescue animals. There was like 3 Shetland ponies. I believe that's what they were. They were definitely ponies. A shitload of goats, maybe like 3 or 4 sheep. And there was some chickens, which is whatever. Ducks. There was a rabbit. And there was some guinea pigs. I don't think I'm forgetting anyone. And it was just lovely. It was honestly lovely. We were one of the first people there. There was a couple of other families just cruising around. Very low key, $6 to get in, whatever. Milky shouted us, thank God. That was nice. It was just honestly so good. Like, I was just cruising around, like we were brushing goats, like just having an absolute sick time. Couldn't get in with the ponies. They were a little bit like, I don't know, that you just couldn't pat the ponies. So whatever, we weren't in there, but we could look at them. Arabella was obsessed with the chickens, which didn't fare too well with me. I didn't catch the breed of the chicken, but it was like one of those chickens that's just like, it's got this thing called a crown or a comb, and honestly, it makes me feel sick just thinking about it, but it's fucking disgusting. I don't know if there's a god when they were inventing this chicken, why they were thinking about doing that. I don't really understand. Because this poor fucking thing, it's got the beak, it's got like sort of the afro sort of hair, you know what I mean? And then it's just got this giant fucking like pad here that's like ribbed. It almost looks like, this is going to sound disgusting, it looks like a scrotum that has almost been like dried out, like a bit of jerky. It has that sort of texture to it, and it's just placed there. God's going, yeah, nah, I'm happy with that. Let's go. Put it into production. Eli, the rooster, he was. Poor little bastard. He fucked a talon. I felt like a talon, a nail. I'm not sure. We'll go with talons. And I was just like, oh, poor thing. That's got to hurt. They're like cleaning it, sanitizing it. I was like, oh my God, this poor fucking thing. You know what I mean? Just gonna get any worse for Eli, the rooster. But it was nice. Arabella was in there with the chickens. With the ducks, we couldn't really get to. They were just sort of doing their own thing. But it was the goats. The goats were the stars of the show. The sheep, pretty good, just cruising around. It's hard to pat a sheep, I'll say that. Not like it's hard to catch them and pat them. For me, it was physically disgusting on my hands to touch that sheep's fur. It's not like wearing wool. If you feel the sheep's fur, it's the wool, actually. If you feel the sheep's wool on the sheep, it's weird. It's matted. It's like dreaded hair. Sort of, I don't really like dreads at the best of the time. That's what it feels like, a whole body, just woolen dreads. So I was like, ooh, cool, no way, not for me. Moved on over to the goats. They had that nice sort of coarse hair, so it was a little bit different. They had a bit more personality, the goats. They were very, like, interested in what you had to offer, you know? They were up there. The fact that they can climb quite well is really cool. I mean, no wonder that, you know, they're goats, like the greatest of all times. It's just, they can just, yep, cool, we're up here, cool. And there was just one goat, just this real dominant, clearly like king of the goats, like this real dominant goat, little white motherfucker, eh? Just standing right as high as he could get the whole time. The whole like 3 or 4 hours we were there, he's just standing there like, this is my fucking pen, right? I am the goat, the OG goat. And I was just like, wow, so he really stamped his like dominance like from the early get go with us, and we were just like, we respect that, we respect that, and for just like half an hour, I'm just there trying to like do my best at doing a selfie with a goat, you know what I mean? Like that was it, and then I just naturally have that thing where they go to clip you, and you're like, you're scared, but. Oh, really good. Really stoked. We got out there. The kids had a sick time. There was food trucks out there. There was breweries out there. Like, sorry, it is a brewery, so there was beers out there. Good beers too. I was feeling good. I sat down on Sunday at about 10 o'clock, maybe 10:15. Ordered a hot dog. They had a hot dog van there. Got the New Yorker, the sauerkraut, the mustard. Delicious. Wasn't that good, but for the sake of the story and the sake of Sunday breakfast, it was pretty good. Got a tasting paddle. And I will say, wasn't the last tasting paddle I got on Sunday. There was one of two, and we'll get to the next one soon enough. But just fucking legit. Torella Brewery is legit. I got a dry Irish stout, delish. Strawberry and cream cider, delish. Got the Mad Dog Money ginger beer, even, delish. And I got another one, pineapple sour, delish. All good. Bang, little drinks like that, sort of half of these ones, whatever. $15. I was like, man, I'm living large here. $15. The New Yorker hot dog. Oh god, just sensational. The kids had some food. Man, really good times. I had an absolute sick time there. Then we come home. There was a bit of beach time in there again. Honestly, my mum was up now, so that was cool to see my mummy. My mummy, how good's my mummy? So she was up in town, and we went to the beach, Kings Beach. I will say the wind started to kick off. That the most hated of all my elements was really starting to fuck me off on a Sunday. But anyway, doesn't matter. It was a pearl of a day. The weather was still good. The beach was still good. Bit choppy, still good. Arabella had a sick time. So many just pre-made castles just there for us to enjoy. I will say though, I did see a first on Sunday afternoon at the beach. A live action baptism session. It was pretty cool, I guess, as far as like baptizing people goes. I'd never seen it in the flesh. I myself am baptized. I think I was baptized. My mum was telling me at 13 months old. Didn't have a choice over the matter. At 13 months old, you really can't put up a fight with things like that. I know it's a religious thing. I'm not religious. I don't begrudge people that like do that sort of stuff. It is what it is. But yeah, all these people just came onto the beach. There was like 100 of them. I swear to God. And they look like they might have been locals, but they weren't beach locals. It's a surefire way to find someone that doesn't go to the beach often. They don't take their shoes on when they're walking on sand. That's just like the first mistake, hey? It's like, are you serious, bro? Like, get your feet out. Do a bit of earthing, They've got prams. They're pushing them over the sand. Whatever. I guess you got to do that. But they just, they're dressed. Next thing, it's like, what the fuck's going on here? I thought it might have been a bit of a funeral thing. So I was trying to be respectful at the time. Next thing, a couple of larrikins have walked out like 20 meters into the sea, and the people that are going there, and they're all dressed up. That was another thing. That was kind of like a red flag for me too. I was like, why didn't you bring wetsuits? So you knew you were going in there. So they were going in their clothes, whatever, just normal clothes, like civilian clothes, not like religious clothes. And then, bang, they dip their heads. Everyone's cheering, yeah, fuck yeah, Jesus. And it's like, oh, wow, this is cool. Like Beck and I, my mum, Arabella were all looking at each other. Arabella's like, what the fuck is a baptism? She didn't say that, but that's what she was like, what the fuck? And we were all like, Sunday, what's going on here? I'm going, it's a Sabbath. Like, if I was a religious man, and in this way I am, I don't fucking lift a finger on a Sunday. These guys were full on into it, full in recruitment mode on a Sunday. One after another, bang, baptism, bang, baptism, bang, baptism. You get a baptism, you get a baptism. I've never seen so much baptism go down. Not we were privy to one, we were privy to like 20 before we fucking packed our towels up and got off that beach. There was a moment too. I walked off the beach. We all looked down, and it was a baby in a baby carrier lying down on the beach. And I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like, we all looked at each other like, "Is that a real baby?" Like, we see the top of the head like from back here, And we were like, "Why the fuck is that baby sort of face down?" It was clearly asleep, but I just thought it was a very odd thing for someone to do. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, I know they've got like Jesus on their side, and that's like a pretty good person to have your back. But it's like, what? I don't know. It was just bizarre. So the whole thing was sort of tainted by that. But yeah, very bizarre. These like large baptism sessions. I mean, it's a public beach. They can do whatever they want, but they just fully came on. It's a good recruitment tool, I suppose. You know what I mean? Everyone was just like loving it. There was people crying, like. Couldn't believe it. So yeah, just a casual Sunday baptism session. We were like, let's get the fuck off this beach, because we got a new brewer in our state, so we're going to check it out. And that's exactly what we did. But first, I come home, watched 2 fights on the UFC, Aldo and Font, unreal, so good. My mates Tim and Gemma came around, we did that. And then down to Brouhaha Brewery, unreal. Again, just full tasting paddle mode. Like, I didn't even intend to do it. I walked in and I got their strawberry and rhubarb sour. Talked to the girl. She was nice. Didn't really know what was going on. I said, "How sour is this sour?" It's kind of a one of those questions. It is like kind of like how long's a piece of string. I know it's a hard thing to ask, but I said, "How tart is your sour?" She might have thought I was coming onto her. The guy next to me, he clearly picked up my vibe. He knew I wasn't. He knew I was a sincere dude, just trying to find out this tartness level. And he's like, "Just give the man a taste." I thought, "Thanks, mate. I appreciate that." And basically got a taste. It was delicious, so I bought one. Next thing, my mate Timmy's come back and he's gone, here's a tasting paddle. I was like, deja vu, dry Irish stout. I've got the sour again, got the Saison, and we've got the IPA. Stout was lovely. Stout was lovely. IPA was lovely. Sour was lovely. Saison tasted like cat's piss. Won't be revisiting that. But everything else was lovely. They had the Food Boss food truck. I'll tell you what he did. I didn't order it, and I was a bit annoyed I didn't order it. The pulled tacos were lovely, a little bit dry if I can be honest, but they were really lovely flavour-wise. This guy had beef cheek loaded gems. Oh, I've never seen something so Moorish and heavy in my life. And I was like, shit, Tim and Gemma have ordered these. I need to try some of these. So, of course, I wormed my way in for one gem and a beef cheek. Holy fuck, like what a combination. It was just one of those things, you know what I mean? So good. Anyway, that's what we did. I had a slight headache because I realised I was a little bit dehydrated after all the activity and all the tasting paddles. Come home, sculling some water, doing that. Had a few electrolytes. Had to put on my stew. That was lovely. I was in a bit of a funny mood. I was in a bit of an angry mood. I don't know why. I was just being totally ungrateful. It's when I come on here and I'll be honest, when I know I'm talking to you. You can't see me. I can see me. I know you're listening, and it makes me honest. You know what I mean? And as soon as I say the words out loud, I'm going, "You ungrateful fuck," you know? Anyway, put the stew on, went to bed, watched a movie. So that's it. Then we're at Monday, and I just had, one of those days. I woke up and I was just a bit off it, you know? Wouldn't say I was depressed, wouldn't say I was anxious. I just was a bit not there, do you know what I mean? So we'll get through the rest of the show. That went on for a bit, you know? I'm not sorry about it, but it did go on. We had a couple of movie reviews, TV show review. We'll talk a bit of Spotify Wrapped. I've got something here about the metaverse, all right? Maybe I'm late to the party. I'm not sure. I've got that. And I just wanted to talk about my mood and some emotional triggers, okay? I want to be honest with you tonight. Let's talk about my mood first. We'll get the boring sort of stuff out, but I know that's the stuff that people relate to you on, because I get every time I'm open and honest and sort of bleed my heart out, people go, "Yeah, mate, we relate to that and we appreciate you sharing that." So yeah, let me just take a sip before we get down and dirty into it. I mentioned on last week's show some unsolicited life advice, right? There was a bit of life advice I got last week at the party, and it was a good party, so that's put a damper on it. Sometimes when you're not ready for that advice, it comes a knocking, and I kind of didn't want to hear it at the time. I didn't want to hear it after the fact, but it's one of those things like it's awoken something in me. I'm looking around at my friends, they're doing well. I've got this sort of comparison thing. I don't think I do, but I do. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people would do this, where you're going, fuck, I don't have enough money and my friend over here has a lot more money, or, you know, I don't have this particular house and my friend has this sort of house, or I don't have this particular car, my friend's got this car, my guitars might be a thing, clothing might be a thing, a giant fucking whiskey collection might be a thing. I don't know. But I sort of walked away from that going, fuck, it was really good seeing my friends. They all look like they're killing it, doing really well. And I just sort of went into this like stage of going, maybe I'm not doing as well as I thought. Am I playing it safe? Am I fucking cutting myself off, you know, from opportunities and things like that? So for the whole last week, besides episode 120, because I was absolutely fucking buzzing. Like I was. Like if anyone's listening to that show and anyone's like seen the video, the YouTube, whatever, I was absolutely fucking pumping and buzzing. But just from like the Tuesday morning, I just wasn't really feeling it. I didn't really even cop it on the Monday. It was like the show was great, and I just sort of went into like a bit of a funny headspace from Tuesday, and I was just a bit down on myself. I was just a bit off everything, frankly. I was finding it hard to like engage in certain things, and I was doing those all like what's it all about? What's the meaning of life? What am I here for? Is it a monetary thing? Is it a happiness thing? Is it, I love doing the podcast, right? It's a thing that brings me joy. Being here right now, honestly, I had a bit of a struggle sort of getting to do it tonight. Not because I was like sitting there just like depressed, like slitting my wrists on the couch or anything like that. It was like, oh, fuck, it's getting on. I'm a bit tired. I got some other stuff on my mind. I was like, nah, I've got to be here. And funnily enough, this always happens to me. It's like a universal thing. As I jumped on here, one of the guys I work with, he's just started listening to the show. Shout out Adam, I appreciate that, mate. And he prompted me actually as I'm sitting down here. The last message I got from him our work thing, was like, "Have you done the potty this week?" And I was like, "I haven't." I shot back. I know he's probably not online now, which that's fine. I was like, "I haven't, mate." But I'm doing it right now. And that prompted me to go, oh, I have to do it, right? Like, I cannot not do it. If he's the one person listening this week, I have to do it. Like, it's like, I feel like that's my obligation to the people, to the listeners, Um, so, yeah, I was just in a funny sort of headspace all week. And it was one of those things, like, I finally clicked last week. And I'll tell you, it's a bit of the life advice I got was around money. It was around work and it was around money. And we weren't specifically talking about like hating work or hating things and like that, but we were talking about how much, work is, about money and how like you should be chasing the ultimate big bucks sort of thing, right? Regardless of passion. This guy's a bit old school. So it was one of those sort of things, and he sort of pumped me up, mate. You got this potential, you got this sort of personality, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you can make fucking $100,000 a fucking month, fucking whatever it is. A lot of money sort of thing. And I'm going, you're sitting there going, yeah, I could do it. I don't really want to listen to this right now, but yeah, I could do it sort of thing. But it kind of unearths something in your mind. Like you're going, motherfucker, I didn't want to hear that, but I'm kind of glad you said that because it's made me thinking. And it's like one of those things where, it's like without people sort of pushing you and getting you a bit uncomfortable, you getting yourself uncomfortable, that's when like growth happens. That's when the good things happen. So it's like, this too shall pass, this feeling, but on the other side of it will be something worthwhile, so you kind of got to sometimes go through the mud sort of thing to find the fucking nice clear blue water. So yeah, it was just one of those things, and I was just in that sort of headspace all week where I couldn't sort of make fucking head from tails. I couldn't go, all right, I'm doing this and I'm feeling good about it. No, I'm not doing that. Oh, I'm doing this and I'm feeling good about it. Besides the potty, I just couldn't, I didn't even finish listening to my own show last week to get as many clips as I could from it. It was just little things like that. I was like, fuck, I just want to listen to music, and I just want to I started falling into some old habits, not drinking every night because I still was laid off the booze, but there was things where I was like, oh, I feel like I want to, like I feel like I want to fucking just sort of have a drink and just sort of get a bit numb here, but I didn't do that, which is good. I was pretty stoked that I did that. And it was just one of those things, and it made me realize last week that money, it's such an emotional trigger for me. We've done some counseling, me and Beck, relationship counseling. That's no secret. I've talked about that at length 3 or 4 times. We've done like 3 sessions. I've talked about them, every one of them at length. So there's nothing new. And every time money came up in those sessions, it was a pretty big emotional thing for me. I was like a family thing. It was just one of these things. It was just the connection. I'm a bit old school in the way that like I want to be the provider. If I don't feel like the provider, I feel like I'm not. I'm not like, okay, Becky, you got to stay at home and do the washing and the dishes and look after the kids. No, you can work by all means and do whatever you want. Like, this is the 21st fucking century, right? But I still want to be the provider. Like, that's just my thing. I'm going, well, if I'm going to work 5 days a week, I might as well fucking bring in as much bacon as I can. And then, beyond that, it's going, okay, we're cool here, right? Right now we've got this and the bills are paid X, Y, and Z. But, you might need this new dress, or this shit's fucked up and a giant bill's come in and you don't have enough money to cover it. Or, hey, it's coming into Christmas, we're a little bit light on cash. That's when I get like, hey, you're not being the provider that you could be, right? This is a thing where you need to dig a bit deeper to provide. So yeah, just an interesting sort of headspace I was in last week, and it would just click to me that money was a huge trigger. Well, I was sort of saying to myself, hey, look, my work is not all about money and stuff like that, which it kind of isn't, and otherwise I'd probably go out tomorrow and get a new job to chase a shitload of money. It sort of hit me though that like, hey, I actually probably need a fair bit more money to get the other things that I want to be doing in life, to provide and do all these sort of things. The hard thing for me to sort of swallow at the moment was like, what's the gap of like, what could I do to get that money, right? Say the podcast. I like doing the podcast, and I'll be straight with you. Like I'm just in this sort of space where I don't know how to monetize it heavily and things like that. I'm not really sure the next step, right? And that's just being totally honest with you. I know there's a lot of pricks out there that'll get on here and they won't tell you the truth, but I'm always going to tell you the truth, right? So yeah, if I can make money off doing this shit, I would love to, because I love doing this. If I could talk to you every day about X, Y, and Z, I will. I've got so many ideas and things that I want to do. It's just that you need more time, and I'm going, well, my time needs to get to that point where it's exchanged for some sort of monetary gain, right? Because that's life. Shit is absolutely fucking through the roof in this country. It's a great country, but shit is just through the roof expensive, even fucking alcohol and things like that. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. I wouldn't say I'm out of the woodwork yet. I'm still having like a bit of a hard time grasping. I think that's why my fuse has been really short. My temper has been really short. I kind of lost a little bit today actually at home. Just in a way, like not aggressively. I was just like, fuck, like I'm just a bit tense. My nervous system's on the fucking edge. I've been doing my movement stuff, been, trying to get better quality sleep and be a bit healthy. There's a couple things I've sort of changed again. Run out of this sort of fucking thing that was helping me or whatever. So I sort of have to get myself back on the horse in that way. And I know like it's going to be up and down. Like if life just was like a straight line, that would just be unrealistic, right? But there's certain things that like I'm going, yeah, like I've got to realize where I'm at and go, okay, this is where I'm at. Why am I feeling like this? Come back to your goals. What are my goals? Write them down, right? I will say that, like, another thing is coming into Christmas time. Every year I get to Christmas time, right? And it's like I always feel like I'm not financially there, like I'm not going to have enough money to get through the holidays. And, again, being honest with you, like that's just my thing, right? We have money in the bank. Not a huge amount, but we have some money. We set up an investment account. We're continuously putting more money into that. So, looking back at last Christmas, we didn't have any of that shit, right? We sort of we're really just fucking, just clutching the pennies. I felt like that was my thing, right? This Christmas, it's like I wish it was like 5 times more than what we have, but we still have something, which is great, and we can rely on that as well. And we got pay and stuff like that, so. I will say that we're in a better state, but it's just that thing coming into it. I'm thinking that I don't have this and I'm lacking that, and you're sort of just being a little bit ungrateful, and that's sort of what I got to keep coming back to. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to share with you on the podcast, because it's my podcast and you listen, and I really appreciate that. But I don't really feel the point in coming on here and just like. I tell you absolutely everything, from my weekend to just all the little fucking intricate bits of my life. Good, bad, fucking happy, sad, whatever. And that's the show, right? So I'm going to get on here and tell you when I'm not feeling that good. And I get that too. If people tell me that they're not feeling good and they text me after they listen to a show, I appreciate that. I'll talk to them about that. I genuinely care. Maybe that could be my thing, talking to people full time. And, trying to help them. That's kind of the podcast. But maybe I could be like a fucking psychiatrist. I don't know. Maybe I could walk in my Aerosmith tank and be a psychiatrist. That would be pretty cool, actually. But, yeah. It was just one of those things where I was sort of... I just wasn't in my... I'm going through this thing of, like, in life where it's like... I kind of know what I want to do, and I don't know how to bridge the gap from knowing what I want to do to making it a financial... thing, right? Making profit from the things that I love. People might go, that's like you're a sellout and stuff like that. I'm going, no, that's like the exact thing that you want to be doing with your life. Find what you fucking love and then get paid for it, right? That's exactly what I want to do. So I'm just having trouble right now bridging that gap, but we'll get there. You know what I mean? I'm in the thick of it. I'm going to keep going, and we'll work it out. There's heaps of opportunity in this country. I mean, frankly, there's heaps of opportunity in everybody. Like right in the center. So. Yeah, I wanted to share that with you because, I love you guys and I think you love me too, and I think you love my honesty. So, yeah, enough of that, though. We'll keep going. We'll keep racing. I've got a few things here. I was gonna talk about the metaverse tonight. I feel like I need to do a bit more digging, but I will. I'll save that for another episode. I think I might get Jared on for that one, because he's a guy that would understand that, and we can really break that down. So we'll talk about that one with Jared. Jared, you're on for another show before the end of the year, my friend. Spotify 2021 Wrapped. I will just come out and say this. I love it. It's the greatest thing that people share on the gram. You know what I mean? out of all the things that anyone can share, the Spotify 2021 Wrapped things are what I like. Oh, there's a few negative Nancy's out there. I get that not everyone's going to be into it, but there's the few negative people out there that going, we don't fucking care what music you listen to. We don't fucking care what podcasts you listen to. Well, I'm one of those people telling you, I really fucking care what podcasts and what music you listen to. Podcast wise, especially if the King of the Couch features, I need to know. Let me know. If King of the Couch was in your top 5, then please let me know. A couple of people did that. I really appreciate that. Well, I think it's really cool to see what people listen to, right? These are friends that you follow on a social media platform and fucking total strangers, right? I like to dig that bit deeper, right? And go, okay, this is what that person's listening to. That's really cool. Maybe how do we get King of the Couch in there in the number 5 spot, and we'll work our way up to number 1. But otherwise, that's really fucking cool. Like, I love seeing the people that are into, like, the mental health sort of podcast, and there'll be, like, a sport one in there, or, you know, when I saw King of the Couch, and then some of the other ones that were in there, I'm like, well, I'm in with a fucking unique bunch. But I think it's really cool, hey, and I love the people that just can't hack it, because I'm just like, man, what's some of the shit that you share? And then you're like, oh, God. But, yeah, my 2021 Spotify was really good. It was, I can't remember everything off the top of my head, but I think my most played artist was The Bronx. Shout out The Bronx. Actually, I will say, and I don't want to give away too much, but I have been talking to a certain member of the Bronx on Instagram, and don't you love social media? I know that like it's changing the world, and some things aren't that great, but it really does put you in touch with people that you fucking look up to, and at an incredibly quick and easy way. So yeah, a certain member of the Bronx, he plays guitar. He wants to be on the show. Well, I asked him to be on the show, and he accepted. So early January, we got Ken from the Bronx coming on the show. So I'm very, very excited about that, because I did say I want to talk more music. So you can guarantee KTC is shaking and moving. We're gonna get more fucking music happening, because it's something I love dearly. But the Bronx were my number 1 artist, followed closely by the Wild Hearts. Wild Hearts, unreal, love them to death. They, of course, Ginger does my theme music. He didn't just specifically do it for me, but for the layman, he does my theme music by one of his side projects, Claim Abuse. Go and check it out if you haven't. But yeah, anything the Wild Arts do, go and check it out. If you're a music fan, go and check out their new album, 21st Century Love Songs. Between the Bronx 6 and 21st Century Love Songs, for me, it was sort of like a tie. Like, I was pumping them, I thought the same amount. It was just different amounts. The Bronx released more singles, so that, you know. But yeah, unreal album. There was like a bit of a talk of them lately sort of breaking up. There's a bit of, you know, they take to their social media platforms, and they're quite honest and open. I like that. That's the kind of the day and age we live in, where people can't do that. And if people want to talk honestly, which is exactly like I fucking do, they do that. People speculate, of course, but it's good. You get like a play-by-play. You're like, okay, cool, this is going on. This is real. And you can almost go, we're probably going to get another new album out of this, because there's a whole lot of fucking things flying around. But yeah, the Wild Hearts came in at number 2 as like my most played. I had Danko Jones on there as well. I've lost my fucking telephone here, but I had, it's right in front of me, you dumb cunt. I had Danko Jones on that list. His album Power Trio, unfucking real, love it. I'd love to get Danko Jones on the show. Actually, he's a pretty outspoken Canadian musician, very outspoken. Actually, he's been huge on like the COVID chat and things like that. Pretty much like for vaccinations and stuff, which is cool. So certain things he says I don't like totally agree with, and I'm sure vice versa. But doesn't mean I can't love his music, right? Because I really do love his music. So I'd love to get Danko Jones on the show. I think he does his own podcast too, so go and check that out. But yeah, if you like good rock and roll, real just balls to the wall, just fucking power chords and just real groovy fun stuff, Danko Jones is your man. So Danko Jones Power Trio was my top third artist, I believe. This is where it starts fucking me up a little bit here. Number 4 was the Wiggles. It's evident via that admission that I don't have a family profile, and I use my Spotify account to let Arabella get some Wiggles into her ears. I was actually quite surprised though that the Wiggles actually featured in the top 5, because I'm like, fuck, I play a lot more than that. But you take on the consideration of being in the car with her. Every time I'm in the car with her, I'm already looking forward to 2022. I know Peppa Pig is featuring in the 2022 top 5, so I better fucking get an extra $5-10 a month somewhere and just do a family profile, please, for the sake of your Spotify 2022 Wrapped. Get the Peppa Pig and the Wiggles out of there. But she loves it, so it's good. And for the life of me, number 5 was Buck Cherry. Their new album, the name escapes me, but it was the one that had Hellbound on it and stuff. I'll be honest, The new album I listened to like a handful of times, really liked it. It was actually out of the last sort of 2 or 3 or 4 albums they've done, it was my favorite one. But from that, listening to those new singles, I was like, it made me just go and revisit absolutely everything. So their first and their second album, especially their second album, I love it. The first and the second album are great. The band themselves don't. They always don't. They disregard their second album. They go, some of our worst work. I know it's fucking crazy from the outside looking in, because I go, it's actually some of your best work. Like, it's so good. Every song's great and every song's catchy to me. So I absolutely destroyed the first and second album again, just on repeat. Did the 15 album. That was one that made me fall in love with them. Like when I was like sort of 18, 19, 20, 21. About 21, maybe that age. And then there was like Black Butterfly and so on. But yeah, those first 3 albums for me were just unreal. Like, oh God, so good. But it was just good. Now you got the 2021 like Spotify playlist that you got, and you can go and look at it. And I love doing it too. You're like, yeah, I did listen to that. Oh yeah, I love the Super Suckers. Yeah, they featured a fair bit too. Idols were on that one. Yeah, fuck yeah. There's probably some albums that are still coming out now that I haven't really sort of smashed as much, because we're in the later part of the year and they've only just come out. But Volbeat have just released a new album, which is pretty sick. So a couple of shows. Look, we're rocking along to the end of the year. We're going to do a couple of specials. One of those specials, I think I'm going to do like my top 5 or my top 10 albums a year. We're going to break them down, and that might be, folks, my first episode of my music show. We're going to call it That Sounds Sick. So it's going to be separate to the King of the Couch. It's just going to be pure music. That Sounds Sick. I'm going to do it not next week, maybe the week after. In the next 2 weeks, I'm going to do That Sounds Sick, all right? That's going to be a thing. We might break down my top 10 albums of 2021 and just whatever else. My cousin may join me, he may not, but I want to talk music. I actually get really, really G'd up. So we're going to do that as well. But it's so good. And if you're one of those haters that don't like the fucking Spotify rap list, move on. Change the channel, you dogs. But really fun. What else we got on here? We're going to talk movies real quick. Very low-key show tonight, guys. Bit of weekend. Bit of fucking emotional mental health stuff. Bit of fucking music. We're going to finish on a couple of movies and a TV show. I'll start with a movie that no one will know. It was a Northern Irish movie called Bad Day for the Cut. Loved it. I'll be honest, I still fell asleep like 10 minutes from the end, because that's just my style. It's like my thing. If you like Irish movies or English movies, gritty movies, Australian movies, things like that, there's something real about them. I wouldn't say it was like a B-grade one, but it's kind of a B-grade one in the way that you probably wouldn't know any of the actors in it. I feel like I know a lot of actors. I didn't know any of the actors in it, or the actresses. But it was a good one, just a classic sort of revengey style movie. And that my next review is exactly the same, just a totally different movie. But yeah, very good. Loved it. My dad's from Northern Ireland. Got a lot of Northern Irish family. And as soon as I heard that accent, it was like, oh fuck, I feel like I'm just in like my cousin's home. You know what I mean? And just having a good time, just drinking some pints and having some Guinness. And I just fucking thoroughly enjoyed the accents just straight off the bat. And I liked the movie. It was they had that fun sort of comedic Irish twang, they told jokes really subtle, really dry, but it was really dark, sort of thrillery, sort of noir kind of movie, right? Basically, an older fella lives with his mum, he's worried about her, she's frail, etc., blah, blah, blah. She gets robbed, she gets killed, bit of a revenge flick. They come back to fucking finish the job, being him, and they don't get it done, right? And you're going, wait, what's going on? Why have they killed this old lady? Why are they coming for this guy? Like, he just looks like a farmer, right? What's the crack? No pun intended. Really good movie, really dark, really funny in parts, really violent. If you like violence, I would go and check this out. It was a lot of real violence. That's what I like about these like Aussie, Irish, English, whatever. Anything that's not just pure Australian, pure American, is great violence, great realistic violence. I love it, and they seem real. So that was like a great movie, Bad Day for the Cut. It's on Netflix. Go and check it out. Another movie. This one was a bit more of a Hollywood one, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Hey, like honestly, it was 10 out of 10 for me. I'll be honest. I saw the trailer, thought that was pretty cool. Just sort of didn't really bother with it when it came to the box office, and didn't really bother with it when I first saw it. I skipped over it like 10 times. I was like, yeah, I might come back to it. But that movie was Nobody, and it had Bob Odenkirk in it. I think he's from Better Call Saul. Never seen it, but I was like, oh yeah, it looks good. It kind of looks like a bit of a John Wick style thing, but a bit more like comedic. I love John Wick. I haven't seen them all properly, but I do like John Wick. And that's just the style of movie that is this guy. He's like in this Nobody program. He's nobody. He's got a name, of course, but he's like nobody. Anyway, gets his house sort of robbed at the start, and he sort of he could do something about it, but he clearly pulls back. His son's a bit like, "What the fuck, Dad?" One of those things. Anyway, he has to go and get this little fucking kitty bracelet back for his daughter, and then shit just goes sort of south, and it kind of just shows that, hang on, this guy he's got some skills. He's got something. There's something about him, right? And he's like a suburban dad. There's this really cool thing that they do in the movie, and it was kind of made me think of like my own situation at the moment. This is not to put a bad spin on my life, but it's kind of like that monotony of the middle class sort of 9 to 5, where it was sort of like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it punches through these scenes, and it shows him like getting up, having a shower, making breakfast, kissing his wife and his kids goodbye, going to work, punching his ticket, fucking trying to avoid his boss, coming home, doing the dinner, having a wine, going to bed. Tuesday, misses the fucking bin. Wednesday, same thing. Thursday, bang. Next week, misses the bin. You know what I mean? And it was really cool the way they did that. And I was like, fuck, you can really feel this guy's like stress and angst. He's just like, oh God, he's over us, and he wants to fucking release the inner dragon, which is exactly what he does. I try to do no spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it, like, go and check it out. But if you like ultra violence and you love revenge, go and see Nobody. It's sick. Yeah, Bob Odenkirk is sick. The RZA RZA is in it from Wu-Tang. I like him as an actor. He's great. He's got that great accent, his voice, it just, you know, it's him as soon as he fucking talks, right? Because most of the movie he's on the phone, and then he comes into it at the end. And then we've got Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown from Back to the Future, which you don't see him in a hell of a lot, but man, he's getting on. But he plays a fucking great part, and he's Bob Odenkirk, Nobody's dad. Really cool, really violent. There's got to be like 500 plus people that die in it in fucking awesome, gruesome ways, and it was just totally awesome. Very, very stoked with it. So Nobody was like a pure 10 out of 10 for me. Go and check that out. I'd love to unwatch it and watch it again. Which takes me to my last review this evening. This is a TV show. This is one that's been talked about for quite some time. It took me a while to get into it. I sort of brushed it off because of the language barrier thing. What a fucking fool I was. Squid Game. Everyone's probably seen it now. I feel like I'm the last person to see it. It was seriously so good. It was like way better than I expected, and I didn't really know what to expect. So the loose premise is that like it's set in South Korea. There's a lot of people that are desperate for money. The main star in particular, he's got some debts, right? So there's some very bad people. Organ trafficking seems to be a thing in this particular story. So it probably is a thing in Korea. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's loosely based on the truth. But they're going to harvest his organs if he doesn't get this fucking pay, right? So he gets a bit of beat up in the first episode. And there's a whole lot of people in it. He lives with his mother. He's got this daughter. He's divorced. And yeah, it's a bit sad. You feel bad for the guy, but he's clearly got some gambling issues and things like that. And you're going, fuck, he probably could help himself, but he just isn't. But yeah, very cool. He then meets this guy on the subway, and the guy's like, look, I'll play this game with you and I'll give you some money, sort of thing, right? And he needs the money. And it's basically like I don't know if it's an Asian game, but they basically got to like hit this thing and bounce it, right? So it's like he throws it down and slaps it and goes up. And whoever wins, you know, they get to slap each other, and there's money involved. So anyway, he gets a lot of slaps, he gets a bit of money. And the guy says at the end of it, he's like, if you need some money, take this card. We play these games. Come and call us. He has to think about it. He's like, fuck it, what I got to lose. Goes to do it. He's like a lot of other people there, like 200 people, something like that, 300 people. There's a lot of people, right? And they're all in the green jumpsuits. They all get drugged, taken to this secret island, which is great. It almost had like this old sort of, I want to say James Bond, but you know those old shows where they have this like secret like lair on an island? It had that vibe for me. And they're all just like, they don't know what the fuck's going on. Really creepy with the men in pink suits. They had like just these black faces with like a triangle or a square or a circle. Kind of remind me of the old school like PlayStation logo. So there's a bit of nostalgia there for me. And there's like the main dog, like the main dude there, and he's just like in all black with a fucking different face, which is really cool. I think it was really cool how like they hit everyone's face, right? And yeah, very cool. And then that first sort of like death thing, they have play a game called Red Light Green Light, which is another Wild Heart song. So go and check that one out. It's a great song. And basically it's this thing where it's like, I remember playing this as a kid. It was like Bull Rush or 44 Home, where you sort of got to like go and get across the line, right? But the kicker of this game was that you go, and when this thing turns around, you have to be like dead fucking silent and not move, or there's a repercussion. The players don't know the repercussion at this point. So they're going, these two fucking larrikins, they go, we run out. And this guy's like, he doesn't move. Next thing, this thing moves, bang, headshot. And everyone just like, fuck, in Korean. And they just lose it. And they're running, they're all getting shot. And all the people that like clearly are the main people in the show, they're like, what the fuck, So, yeah, spoiler alert, like a lot of people die. The main ones that need to make it, but they're going, fuck, we need to get out of this, so they can vote to get out. So they vote to get out, and that's it. It was a really good glimpse of what happens to people when they're desperate, when they need money, right? All these people were like, fuck it, our lives are more important than money. We'll find another way, right? They then go back to their life, and then they go, you know what? Life isn't that great. We really need the money. We're willing to die for it, right? And that's it. It's incredibly violent, incredibly bloody, incredibly great for those two reasons. But it is incredibly sad in a lot of parts too. There's an older man in it. There's like a young girl that's trying to save her family and her mum and her brother, and she's from North Korea. There's like a bit of a vicious, violent guy in it. He's a bit of a badass. He's fun. There's an annoying chick in it, and there's another guy, a Pakistani guy, who you feel bad for him. And then there's another guy that the two main Asian guys. They sort of grew up together. So, yeah, I won't ruin it totally for you, but every episode there's a fucked up game where a lot of people get killed and a lot of blood. Asian cinema, they love blood. They do it really fucking well, Quentin Tarantino, heavily influenced by the Asian cinema. But yeah, really, really good. Left me feeling a little bit sad at the end, but like almost like, fuck, that was a good show. There was like a huge, very strong metaphor there where like people that are desperate, willing to do anything, and people that have the money are willing to like do anything just to fucking get something from their money, even if that is illegal and killing people and all that sort of stuff. So there's two sides there. Great twist in the end. Highly recommend it. Squid Game, 10 out of 10, Netflix. If you've been fucking living under a rock, you won't know about it, but I'm sure you've heard of Squid Game. So go and check it out if you haven't already. And I will say, watch it with the subtitles. There is talking in it, but there's a lot of scenes where there's not a lot of talking, a lot of killing and things like that. They dub it in American, and it's clearly fucked. Not many Koreans I know speak with a perfect American accent. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. But anyway, that's the show, episode 121. We're rocking along. We're coming into Christmas. Next week, got a bit of a special on. We're going to do like 10 things you miss about being like not an adult, right? So we'll talk about that. We'll break it down next week. Normal sort of show, but we're going to have that. Might get Jared onto the show. I want to talk about the metaverse and some weird shit like that. Get him on and just fucking let loose. He'll be gunning to talk about COVID, mandate vaccinations and all that sort of stuff. But we got heaps of shit to talk about, me and him. Maybe do a bit of a sport one. And I want to do a music one before the end of the year. So we will see. So much to do, so much to fucking talk about. But I appreciate you listening tonight. Always means a hell of a lot. I know I went on a bit with some dreary sort of mental health stuff, but this is the show. This is why we listen, right? And this way, I appreciate you listening and allowing me to get this out to you. So and get it out of my system because I need to do that. So it's therapeutic for me. So I appreciate that. If you're still listening, please subscribe, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or any other platform you listen to me on. If you feel like dropping a review, that would be great. Please pay it forward if something resonates with you in this show. Really appreciate that. But beyond that, I'm the King of the Couch. This is episode 121. You've been a great audience. Have a beautiful week, and I love you all.